Okay, I'm on. I'm in the college connection group. I was gonna try to go live on my page as well. Let me see here. Okay, I see. Hey, I was trying to also see if I could go live. Hi, Jasmine. Is it gonna work? Okay, I'm gonna see here. I'm trying to go live on my other page, on my regular Facebook page. So that's what I'm trying to do. Trying to do both if it allows me to. Okay. Okay, I'm live both ways. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. We don't have, we're only set for a set amount of time. So yeah, so first things first, I want to say hello, ladies. It is night 4 of the Secure the Bag series, college edition. So the women of the 40 under 40 young professional league has gathered together to discuss different tips of finance and different things of how we can, earn money, save money, and be in a better place financially. So we started on Sunday, and this is day 4, or Monday, and this is day 4. So I've been charged with a task to do budget 1-on-1. So last night, my sister Ty, she did a segment on budgeting, and I'm also going to do a segment on budgeting. I'm going to try not to repeat as much as what she was saying, but take it from a different aspect. So, yeah. So before we begin, let me introduce myself for those who don't know me. My name is Lisa Lyons. I became a member of the 40 under 40 class of 2017. So it's been an awesome time thus far being in the league and working with the young ladies and being of service. So I am enjoying my time. Professionally, I work at St. Xavier University. Next month will make 13 years. The end of next month, May 31st. A long time. I've been at St. Xavier for 13 years, working in academic advising. I am also a part of our retention program called Rebound. So I coordinate that program. And I also teach classes as well. So that's what I do. That's my day job. Some of my other side gigs, things I do, I am a licensed sports official. I am licensed by the Illinois High School Sports Association. I am a licensed official in the areas of cheer, dance, track and field, and cross country. I also have a YouTube channel, which I call Lady Lee Lee, and it's just me. It started out with me just sharing my love with purses, but now it has emerged to talk about different life topics. I do show reviews and whatever else come to mind. I did a video that talks about Greek life at the graduate level, how to pursue it. So it turned out into a hobby that I was kind of shy about, but now it's progressing. It's been 5 years, so I'm excited to watch it grow. So I'm going to stop blabbing so we can get on with the information. That we're talking about tonight. So I got one stats for you. Nearly 3/4 of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and they are one emergency away from financial ruin. So you hear the term paycheck to paycheck you hear that term often, but how many of us, if we did not get paid, for example, tomorrow, what would happen? Will we have money on reserves to, secure us to the next pay period? If we had a big, major financial crisis come up, will we be able to afford whatever happens to dig ourselves out of it? So why do we budget? Having a budget, it ensures a couple of things: that you have enough money for the things you need and what is important. It's also a great way to help you stay out of debt, and it's also a way for you to help you get out of debt. A budget gives you a snapshot of where majority of your money is going. There are so many people that's just out here swiping their debit card, writing checks, and have not a clue as to where their money is actually going. There are some people, they will start budgeting and they realize they have more money than they thought they had. And then there's some people who will start budgeting and they realize they do not have as much money as they thought they would have. So I got 5 tips or 5 things you could do to start up your budget or get your budget going. So let's start with the first one. If you see me looking up, I got my notes taped across the wall here. So that's why if you see me looking up, I'm just trying to make sure I'm on track with my notes. So the first thing you need to do is determine how much money you got coming in. How are you getting paid? Are you a person that get paid monthly? Are you a person that get paid bi-weekly or weekly, or are you a person that's, do you have side hustle money? So that's the first thing. How do you get paid? Determine how do you get paid, how much you have coming in. The next step you need to do is write down all your bills: mortgage, utilities, cell phone, student loans, car insurance. If you're paying a hospital bill, the cable bill, whatever bill you have, you need to write it down and be honest with yourself. There's people out here who say they do not open their mail. They have no idea how much they owe on things. Open your mail, people. Open your email, because I know some people say, well, I don't get paper bills sent to the house anymore. Okay, open your email. Look at how much your bills are each month. That's going to be important. So lay that all out. Whatever you're paying that is a bill expense, lay it out. Step 3, what are your other expenses? Do you need gas to gas up your car? Are you going to church and giving tithes and offering? If you're a person who always got to get your hair done, or your nails or your feet or whatever, that is considered other expense. If you're entertainment, you like to go out and have a drink or eat dinner or catch a movie, you can list that as an other expense under entertainment. So that would be number 3. What are your other expenses outside of your bills? And number 4, savings. You need to save something. Everybody should have some sort of regular savings. Everybody should have an emergency fund just in case things happen. If you really want to go there, some people have Christmas funds. Christmas savings. Some people save for vacation. Something I do now, I save for Christmas. I'm single. I don't have children, but I still buy Christmas gifts. And during the Christmas time, you tend to spend more money because there's a lot more going on. You get invited to parties. You may have to bring a drink, or you may have to bring a dish or a gift exchange. So that's something I've been doing for a couple of years now, is having a Christmas fund. So what I do every time I get paid, I take out a few dollars off of each pay period. I start December 26th and I save all the way up to November, and whatever money is saved, that's what I use to buy my Christmas gifts. That's what I use to bring dishes. That's what I use to, if I'm going out to an event and they got a cash bar or something, I use that particular Christmas money that I have saved during that time. Emergency fund, things happen. You might need a new tire. If you're a homeowner, something might go out. Your furnace, God forbid, or anything. So you definitely want to make sure you have some sort of emergency fund set in place. Life happens, things happen. Trust me, I know this for a fact. I never thought I would have to buy a car this year. That was on my last things to do. And I was in a car accident back in February. It was just like, oh, now I got to get a car. So, I mean, things happen. You just never know. So you want to make sure that you have things in place to have an emergency fund. So we talked about those 4 different things. Number 5, determine if you want to do a monthly budget or you're going to do a paycheck budget. Now, let me tell you this. A monthly budget only works if you have all your money at the beginning of the month. So if you a person, there's some jobs that pay people once a month. Some jobs pay people bi-weekly. If you are one of those who get paid once a month, a monthly budget will work for you. You get all your money up front and you divvy it out throughout the month and you're set. I prefer personally the paycheck budget. Means you budget around each pay period. So if you get paid bi-weekly, there's 2 pay periods in the month. That's how I set up my budget. So for example, let's take these next 2 pay periods. So if you're getting paid tomorrow, that's April 27th. And if you get paid in 2 weeks, that's May 11th. So what I tend to do is I take all the bills and I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you an example. So I have a planner that's dedicated just strictly, and it looks beat up and chewed up, but this is my planner that's dedicated strictly to my bills. What I do, if I look at the month, I write down what bills I do. I write down when they, write down when they do, on the day they do, how much they are due. And then I also include in this book the pay periods when I get paid. So I try to line up my bills per pay period. So I got my set amount of bills for April 27th. I got my set amount of bills for May 11th. I also advise work a little ahead of yourself and not just focus per pay period. Do it 2 pay periods in advance, and I'm going to tell you why. So when I laid up everything for April 27th, like laid out all the bills and expenses for April 27th, and then I laid up all the expenses for May 11th, something I discovered, there was a lot more bills that was filtered into the May 11th pay period. So I got 1 or 2 options what I can do. I could either say I'm going to pull back on some things and just let those bills stay in May 11th, or I can filter some of those bills over to April 27th, in which that's what I'm doing. That way I don't have to pull back on savings or pull back on maybe my personal money. So that's why it's important to do that. So knowing in advance what's coming up, what's due, and even socially, if you know there's like next week, my dad's birthday, my cousin's graduating from college, Mother's Day is around the corner. So that's, me, I have to pay attention to my budget because I know those extra special occasions are coming up. So by me doing 2 pay periods at a time, I was able to filter some of those bills for April 27th, and that way it balanced out for May 11th, and I'm not paying as much. So that's just one example of how I kind of do my budget per pay period, and it works. Another thing I want to introduce you. So let's say you set your budget up. Okay, I know how much I make. I know how much I got to go out, and I got my savings. So what's next? So here's a way that what you can do to execute your budget. So I'm sure you all heard of Dave Ramsey, one of the known gurus for finance out him, Susie Orman. I watched and read everything that they pretty much did. So he has a system called the Dave Ramsey's envelope method. And what he does is, how it's set up, it is a method that it helps you visualize and helps you maintain your budget. So what you will do is you got your categories. So if you laid out your budget, you got your categories. And I'm not talking about, you can do it for bills, but this is more so for other expenses. So like your gas, your groceries. So what you would do is get a set of envelopes and you'll label gas, groceries, entertainment, grooming, and you'll put your cash that you designated for that pay period into those envelopes. So I'm going to show you some of the envelopes that I came across. So these are some of the envelopes here. I'll just show you one of the envelopes. Is from spinvelope.com. They are on Amazon. And, you have different colors. You can set up your different categories. And the one thing I also like about this is if you flip it in the inside, you can also track how you're spending that money in that particular category. So for example, if you're using gas, you can write gas across here. And let's say, okay, I budget $60, and I'm just throwing numbers out here. I budget $60 for gas. So every time you stop for gas, you'll write down how much you spent, what's the balance, and so on and so forth. Let's say this envelope here is for entertainment, movies, drinking, whatever you do. This is the entertainment envelope. So you'll write that down, you'll track this. So you got paid, you separate all your envelopes out, you're ready to rock and roll, right? So let's use this as an example. Let's say that you went extra out. So your money you spent up all your money for your entertainment. You got your money for your groceries. You got your money for your grooming, and you got your money for your gas, and you probably got your money for your offering. So the goal here is once this is spent up, it's spent up. You got to wait till you get paid. There's no going back. There's no cheating in these other envelopes. No cheating. That's the goal. That teaches you discipline as well. So you can't go and say, oh, I got an extra $25 here in the grocery envelope. I can just sneak some out there. No, that's the part of the process. That's how you are being taught discipline. So that's helping you with your budget as well. A lot of people, budgets don't work for them because they're not disciplined. But the goal is once this is gone, it's gone. So let's say it's not gone. Let's say, okay, I went my, time, I'm getting close to my pay period. I actually got money left over. So what do? You can do one or two things. You can take that money, roll it over to the next pay period. And, when you put your new money in there, you got added cushion. Or what you can do, any extra money that's left from these different categories, if you don't want to roll it over to the next pay period, what you could do is pay off debt. That's one. Save it for something special. If you want to take your extra money, pay off a credit card. Want to take the extra money, save it for a trip. Or you want to buy a certain pair of shoes you want to buy, you can do that as well. So that's usually the plan, to have money saved over. That's the goal, to have the money saved over, or you just take it and help to pay off debt. And then as you're going along through this process, you can make adjustments. So if you're designating too much money for groceries, you adjust. If you notice you're not putting enough money up for gas, you adjust. That's why a budget works, because it helps you to see what you're doing and wrong and what you're doing right, and you can always make adjustments. Another thing about budgets, I want to tell you, it's not an overnight process. It takes time. It takes patience. It's going to take you a couple of cycles to get into a routine. I'm in a routine now because I've been doing it for quite a while. But if you're not used to doing budgets, it's going to take a little time. So you have to be patient. If you find yourself the first go around, oh, I spent too much money, don't beat yourself up. You just go back and you readjust. So that's just an overview of how the envelope system work. You're not obligated to buy these. I mean, they're inexpensive. You're not obligated to buy these. If you want to, great. If you want to just get plain white envelopes, you can, and write down, categories, you could do that. Something else I found, there's a lot of people on Etsy. They also do these laminated different folders as well. So it's totally up to you if you want to try this. What it's trying to help you do is spend cash. When you psychologically, if you see your cash like going out, it makes you stop and think like, wait a minute, I need to stop, versus swiping a credit card. When you swipe a credit card, you don't have a concept as to like spending, but if you see the physical cash leaving your hand, it makes you really think and wonder like, whoa, I need to stop, doing that. Like I tell people, I'm a work in progress. I'm not the expert. I'm not the guru of this. I have trial and error. What made me start budgeting, if I could just, share personally, once my brother and I moved into the building we lived in, I came from living at home for a extended amount of time to moving on my own, and thinking that I had saved money to buy furniture, saved money. I said, okay, let me save up a few months of my portion of the mortgage, and this gonna be great. I'm on my own. And then all of a sudden I still had my same spending habits that I had that I was at home, not thinking that I I was moving, so I had current debt, and here I am adding more debt to the situation. So these are living expenses now. So always had student loans, always had credit cards and other, expenses. But now I got all these living expenses. So I was just moving along like I normally do. And then I got to a point like, wait a minute, I'm running out of money. What's really going on? I'm paying my bills as always, but what's really happening? When I sat down and ran all the numbers, I realized that I didn't have as much money to work with as I thought. So that got me into budgeting. And then the budgeting also made me realize that I needed to start pulling in more strands of revenue. So that's how I kind of got into the whole sports referee thing, because I wanted to do something that works around me still being active with my church and my sorority. And I knew working in retail was not going to really allow me to do that. Even though I had a retail background, I knew I wouldn't be able to have, certain weekends off and this and holidays. So I like the refereeing stuff because you dictate what you want to, when you want to work. It's a lot of opportunities out there. You can say, yes, no, I got something this day. So that's how I kind of got into the refereeing to earn extra strands of income. And then also I learned that you can make revenue off of YouTube. Well, it depends on how big you are. I'm not really a big YouTuber. I'm not there. But some people are willing in, their side hustle is YouTube. They're pulling in a significant amount of money per month. So some people use YouTube as their side hustle. So that's what the budget told me. You need to pull in some revenue, some extra strands of income if you want to still hang out and shop and do all that you do. So that I'm gonna stop there because I know they gave us a time limit. They did not want us to go too long. I can go on and on and on, but I won't. So is there any questions, especially from the young ladies in the College Connection group? Do you have any questions? To all the people watching from my live Facebook, do you have any questions? If you are interested in I got resource list. I also have Excel spreadsheets. If you're interested in any of those particular seeing documents or examples or websites, you can email me at lisaalliance80@gmail.com. lisaalliance80@gmail.com, and I'll put that email in the comments below. And I'll be happy to email you an example of a spreadsheet or any other budget spreadsheets I have, or just provide you with the websites or resources that I have had. So is there any questions? Doesn't look like it, but that's pretty much my time. I want to thank the ladies of the 40 Under 40 Young Professional League for allowing me to come on and speak about budgeting. One thing, my advice to people, your money is your money. Your future is your future. We live lives we like to stand in front and say what we have. And don't let anybody dictate how you spend your money. Don't let people be in your pocket. Don't be afraid to say no. I learned that personally. I used to try to be, yes, I could go, I could do, and I just stopped. I say, you know what? Nobody's paying my bills. Nobody's responsible for my expenses but me. So I have learned to make those hard decisions. I have learned to cut back. I have learned to find alternative ways to have fun and not like break the bank. So don't be afraid to take control of your finances. That's the problem I think we have. That's the problem we have out here. We're not teaching financial wealth. We're not teaching responsibility on money. We have the misconception. I'm one of those people. You know, I had a misconception coming out of college. Oh, I got a job. I can go get these credit cards because I can pay the bill. Not thinking like, you know, no, that's not what you do. You have some goals. You think about your future. I'm 37. But you have to also, I got to think about retirement. And so, you know, people might say, oh, you got about another 30 plus years to work. Nope, I got to think about retirement now because there's no guarantee that Social Security will be around when I, you know, get ready to retire. So I have to invest in, well, for me, I work in education. We'll have a 403B. 403B, if you work in corporate, it's a 401k. So we have to think about contributing to that now while we're young and we're working. So yeah, we need to, I when I saw this idea to jump on this week, Finance Week, we need to do more of this, and we need to, educate one another about finances and budgeting. So I thank you for the opportunity, and I hope you all got something out of it. That's it. That's all. You all have a lovely evening and be blessed for the rest of the week. And we're looking to get hopefully some better weather the next coming days. So thank you. Have a good night.